Okay, we're going to work now on the backrest front view. Some very interesting elements here. It is not as rounded over as the back, but it's a continuous round over. And notice that this area rounds back a little bit very quickly. Now the idea there is this area is going to support your lower back. So this is very important. And so you don't want a hard edge here. You want it to very quickly round over to a line. And you'll establish a line which is almost a knife edge right here. And that's why it needs to round over very quickly down here. You don't want that knife edge to hit you in the back. Now, this joint you can see all the rounding over right here. It makes this joint pop out as kind of a rounded over joint in front. But as you get into the corner here, you've got to dig in with your rasp or with whatever power tool you're using to get this real tight radius right here, so it'll flow from the backrest into the arm. Now, the arm itself is very rounded here, and then less rounded toward the top. Then, as you get right at the top, there is a little bit of a slant back. And this becomes very rounded right to a very, very hard knife edge along the back. Now, following along out of this little radius, out of this tight radius right here, there is a return along a line that flows right up under the backrest. It comes along the inside edge of the arm and flows out the back. Now that same line flows along to the front. It makes a nice little handle for you to grip with your hand up here. Now if you continue following this line, there's a soft line that comes up the inside of the front leg. And the same thing happens on a line that is right down the middle of the arm and kind of hardens, comes down the other side of the front leg, and then returns along the edge of the seat and just continues. If you can make your hard lines continuous, they pull the eye in many directions. And that's what an artist wants to do. Let's take a look at the front of the seat. One thing you want to be sure to do is to get a nice flow, nice radius that makes what becomes very much a knife edge right across here. Now you have to round over vigorously down to that edge because you don't want it to cut the underside of the sitter's thigh. But you have removed material here so that hopefully the sitter will be able to comfortably sit there without any pressure on that sciatic nerve, which is something that is very fatiguing and just not comfortable. A note here, if if the chair is made for people who are shorter in stature, kind of like myself, I'm kind of short, and so I like to have a little more of a cutout right there. It helps my feet hit the ground or hit the floor, and provides a more comfortable sit for me. That's one way to adapt the chair to people of varying heights, is to have a little more of a cutout there so that a person with shorter legs will be able to reach the floor more easily. Now, this sweeps up to an area that is the pommel. Now, I like to go back maybe 6 inches with a pommel, but I'm dropping the pommel and rounding over the pommel more and more as I guess my work develops. But I'm trying to accent the pommel while making it more comfortable to the sitter, trying to accent the pommel with a nice little peak here on the front, and by undercutting it and just scooping out right under the center line of that pommel. That ends up kind of making 2 bowls here, or a separation, which I think is very nice. But you'll have this kind of action on each side of the pommel, and vigorous rounding over all the way out to, now instead of having the edge of your bowl come up and make a real hard line as it gets to the front, I prefer to have maybe even a softer round over rather than having such a hard line right here. I think it's just looks better, and it's also more comfortable if you happen to roll into it. And of course, a nice deep seat. More and more I'm trying to have a very comfortable round over from the seat side up to the edge of the bowl. And you see this nice little smile that you get in back. That's Coopered seat, just can't be beat for beauty. Now, when you sculpture the front of the seat, it's nice to draw some lines on there so you know what you're aiming at. One very important thing is be sure to kind of round up from the bottom of the seat to the line that you make that's going to be that front kind of knife edge. Just round up a little bit. Then you're going to round over the sides. Don't leave this square. This needs to be nice and flowing. The flowing line, not the square shape, is what the Maloof-inspired tradition is really all about. So there should be a line that follows all the way from the arm down, sweeping around into the pommel. And of course you can remove most of this material with your grinder. And then the fine shaping with some rasp or a Fordham type tool with a burr on it. This is really fun to do. Fair in the inside of the arm at the back of the leg. Remember, the headrest, the backrest, is going to be in this area. So don't be a hero and remove too much. Work the chair laying it down to get to the inside of the arm. Vigorously round over the outside of the front of the seat and move across the thigh relief cutouts. thinning them out. They should round down to almost a knife edge. Give each side of the pommel a nice sweeping line across the front. Remove material under the arm. Leave a vertical crown in the middle of the upper leg with all the surfaces sweeping away from it out to lines on the front and back of the leg, running down into the seat. Work both converging surfaces to make the line pop out. When it does, you'll get a feel for pushing it in one direction or the other with your rasping tools. Work a rasp along the seat to leg joint, removing material until the leg is flat at the joint but sweeps up the leg toward the arm in a nice curve. Don't be afraid to slightly cut into the seat surface while working the leg joints at the seat level. They will sand flush later. You'll have to do this to all the seat joint, tops and bottoms. Hey, this is what it's all about.
Mark, I think we're ready for the headrest.
Backrest.
The backrest.
To make a radius at the backrest to back leg joint, you'll have to start the sweep on the inside of the back leg and the lower part of the backrest and work them into the corner, rounding as you go. Don't be afraid to cut into both parts to do it. Work the backrest top profile, rounding back to an almost knife edge, and start shaping the back leg's rosette. Round over almost everything. Now, let's look at the back view next.